everybody, it's Lori, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I read in the month of November. So November was a really slow reading month for me. I know my TBR for November was pretty large, and I actually mentioned that it was pretty ambitious. The month of November was really busy for me. I had a lot of things going on. I was traveling out of state, Thanksgiving, and school was coming to an end, so really busy with school and just kind of some other things that were going on as well. On top of that, there were a lot of new video game releases in November, so I actually played a lot of video games too in my free time when I could have been reading, but I have to juggle my free time with either reading or with video games. So I chose video games in November since there was, like I said, a lot of new releases that came out that I was really interested in. I'm hoping that December will be a better month for me in regards to reading, but as far as what I read in the month of November, I only read 2 books. I don't feel like it's a problem reading a small number of books. I'm actually okay with the amount that I read. Obviously, I could have read more, but I think any reading at all is good. So I also wanted to mention too that I pretty much completely deviated from my TBR in November. I know I had a pretty big stack of books that I wanted to read, but I honestly only read one of those books. So without further ado, here are the 2 books I read in the month of November. So the first book that I finished in November was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. One of Us is Lying is a young adult contemporary mystery book that takes place in California, I believe, and there are 4 kids who are basically being investigated for the murder of one of their classmates. So the murder happens when they're all in detention. The synopsis of the book really gave me like Breakfast Club vibes because there is the popular girl, there's the jock, there's the drug kid, and then there's the brainiac girl as well. But really the characters of the book are so much deeper than their descriptions. I was actually pleasantly surprised with all of the characters. I loved the characters so much, especially Nate. Nate was actually the criminal druggie who was just really awesome to read from. Like, his perspective was great. He was like really sassy and just a really interesting character to read about. Honestly though, all of the characters in the book were really, really good. I really enjoyed all of the characters. Another thing that I really liked was this was a mystery like whodunit type of book, and it wasn't really predictable. Like, usually I'm pretty good at predicting what happens in these types of plots, and honestly I didn't really predict what happened in the end. It was really, really good. I think the one thing that I did not like about it though was that towards the end of the book the characters kind of got a little unbelievable, I guess. One of the things that really bothers me about some young adult books is that sometimes the author will make the characters like a little bit too mature, or, you know, the development will be really, really just abrupt, I guess, and it doesn't really become believable for me. So this type of thing kind of happened towards the end of the book, and I was kind of taken aback by that. And honestly, this book was going to get a pretty high rating for me if what had happened with the characters had not happened. So all in all, I gave the book a 3 out of 5 stars for a rating because of the whole abrupt development and the unbelievable kind of development of the characters. Hopefully that makes sense. But the characters went from like, oh, okay, I can totally see this happening, to no, I don't know if that's something that a 17-year-old would probably do. But I do recommend the book, and even though I only gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, I still really enjoyed it. It was a fun read. I also wanted to mention too that I did listen to this book on Audible, and the 4 main characters actually had their own voice actor, and it was really, really, really good. So the next book that I actually read in the month of November, and my last book that I read in November, was Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is actually the 3rd and final book in the Grisha trilogy. And this was so weird for me. At first, I was really, really into this, and like I was really reading it really quickly. And then in the middle of the book, I just came to a like halt, I guess. Like, I didn't really want to read it, and I didn't really like where it was going. For some reason, I wasn't really enjoying what was going on. And then I took it with me to Texas when we were traveling, and I read it on the plane, and then I got back into it for a little bit because something kind of big happened. And then again, it just kind of dropped. Like, I felt like it just was not keeping my attention as much as it had in the beginning. And then finally, when I got to the end of this book and finished it up, I was so disappointed with the ending. I cannot even, like, I obviously don't want to spoil anything. I was just so disappointed with this book and the ending. And honestly, I can't even like begin to explain how upset I was when I finished this book. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't read this series because this is the third book, so obviously a lot has happened, but honestly, I just really, really disliked this book and what happened in the end. So this was like a 2.5 to a 3-star rating for me. Like I said in the beginning, I did really enjoy it, but then it just started going like, it was like up here, and then it just started going down, and down, and down, and then poof, all the way down. So, yeah. So those were the 2 books that I read in November. It was probably one of the slower months of reading for me, but that's okay. I kind of expect the holiday months to be a little bit slower than normal because I am so busy. So what did you guys read in November? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a legendary thumbs up and subscribe for more videos in the future. My name is Lori and I post videos every Tuesday and sometimes Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.